Hey y'all, I hope you're having a good new year and having fun with whatever projects you're into, and most of all, I hope you're staying warm and you're healthy. I wanted to go over a few things that I've done to the cabin since the last video. Mostly I want to show you the lighting that I've installed and the plumbing system. Once spring hits, I need to put a coat of stain on this cabin, and I'm going to gather up some more field stone, and I'm going to lay stone up underneath the foundation all the way around to kind of keep a barrier to maybe keep some of the wind out and maybe make it a little warmer, and most of all to keep critters out. I'd also like to put some gutters on so I can start collecting some rainwater, and I'm still debating on whether I want to try some type of solar system, not to power many things, but mostly just keep the battery that I use for the lights and just the small inverter to kind of keep it on a trickle charge when we're not out here, because I'm not willing to cut any trees to get any more sunlight, and I just don't think that I'll get enough sunlight to those panels to be able to power much of anything full time. It's cold out. Let's go on inside and show you what's going on. I picked up that concrete bear from a lady. She had a wolf, but somebody had already spoken for it, so I missed out on him. But man, he was heavy to get moved into this place. All right, nice and toasty in here. I split those pine logs and made a railing for upstairs. I'm gonna cut another board and leave a live edge onto it to go across the top. The bathroom, and then the kitchen. My uncle was over to visit, and I didn't have any curtains up, and I was planning on using those painter's drop cloth. And he said, I've got some coffee bean sacks that would probably just be about the right size and look really nice. And I said, well, send them my way. And they've still got the custom markings, shipped from Honduras and I believe Papua New Guinea. But they really look great and worked out real nice. Now, as far as the lighting goes, this was the first one I had. I bought these little can lights for a teardrop build that I never used. Yes, the frame's busted there on the left side. I'm going to have to re-glue it. But it was a job drilling those holes, getting all the lights wired up and ran. They work good and look good. But I really like the lights that you see here and over the bed and in the bathroom. I ordered two different kinds from Amazon, and I'll tell you right now that I'm not getting paid for advertising or anything. This is just from what I found that I like. These are the ones you see. This I didn't care for as well. It was more of a light that you would see in somebody's flower garden is what the light reminded me of. But it worked great on the front porch, so I put one on the back as well so you could see going to the outhouse and bringing firewood. Well, these come with a plug already on them. That's your converter to go to 110. I just cut that off and wired the lights directly into the battery, and you've got lights. It comes with a nice toggle switch. The wires are there, and you just screw the lights up wherever you want them. I think there's about 3 or 4 foot of wire on each one, and you could splice in and make those longer if need be. But they were $15 or $18, I believe, and the one for the outside porch was no more than 11 or 12, I think. And I really like these little lights here you can find at places for like $4. They are great for a backup. I believe they run on 4 AAA batteries. I would prefer if they were AA. But I redid a table. The other drop leaf was just too big for in here, so I made it fit the chairs that I had. And I had planned on making some fancier cabinets for the kitchen area, but I decided no, it's backwoods and rustic. I'm going to do something simple, cheaper, and then I can see what I've got. I chose not to run plumbing like I had originally thought because I didn't want to have to fool with winterizing it all the time since we're not out here and heating it on a regular basis. Yeah, my coffee's just about done. But in the bathroom, I was going to do a gravity-fed shower, but I just wasn't impressed with the pressure I was getting, and I didn't like the idea of having to carry the water upstairs. So what we do here is we heat the water on the stove, and you pour it into the 7-gallon bucket here, and then you've got a 12-volt camper pump that's behind this shower here, and I've got a toggle switch that I turn on, and that powers it up, and then you've got nice pressure just like you would in a camper. I've got a shut-off valve there, but we usually just use the switch. And you just add a little cold water, a little more hot water to get it to whatever you like. Maybe that's not fancy enough for you, but it works great for us, and it's simple, and it's real reasonable and easy to install. I don't use the propane heater a lot. It's nice to have if it's not cold enough to build a fire, or if you want to build the heat up real fast when you first come out here. Got a hammock where we can hang over top of the couch, and comes over here to the edge of the window, and you can still sleep on the couch below. Got a few places upstairs for one. And I think the hardest part of this whole cabin build so far has been this stovepipe. That thing weighs, if I remember right, 19 pounds a foot, and I got 14 feet. We laid the one end on the army blanket and muscled it up till we got it on the top log there, took a break, and then we got it on through the hole. And then the harder part was lifting it straight up and getting it down on the stove edge without losing any fingers. That was a piece of double-walled pipe that I cut the inside out of. So it's got about a 1-inch barrier around the black pipe you see. And then it's got fireproofing caulk around it. And then on the outside, there's a real fancy boot that slides down over and attaches. It's got butyl tape on one side to the metal, and it does not leak. It was not a cheap boot. I think it was about $60 for the size I needed. But the bad thing about this stove, it was drawing really bad. I mean, 2.5, 3 hours tops, and you had to put some more fire in. A little light so you can see what I did. So I had a buddy cut me a piece of round 3/8 metal, and that was a job reaching up in that hole. We had to take the pipe back off and get it set down here in front of the stove, reach up in there with the welder and weld this piece of pipe that I drilled through, and weld that piece of round metal to it, so we've got a damper. Now it's in the open position and this is closed. It was about 5.5 inches around, and the inside diameter was about 6. So there's about a 1/4 inch around that whole pipe. But when it's shut down like that, when you've got a good fire, it really is still just about perfect. I've still got the damper on the stove, but it does go a little bit longer, so you can wait 4 or 5 hours before restocking it if you've got good wood and pack it real good. But close this door, we're losing all our heat. But I'll show you here real quick. The light on the outside is right there. But I appreciate all the comments and all the views on the last video. I was just amazed that I had that many people view that in that little time. Appreciate all the kind words. There was a couple that were kind of out there, but I do appreciate that, and I hope that you gained something from this video, and we'll try to give you updates if we do anything else. But again, thanks for watching, and stay warm and enjoy whatever you're into. A good friend of mine is a fine painter, so I sent her a picture of the cabin and said, can you paint that on one of the old saws? She really likes to paint on saws and old saw blades. I said, just do the best you can with the cabin. If you need to change anything, that's fine. Throw a couple of deer and turkey to the scene if you would, and maybe a squirrel. And then a couple days after she'd started, I said, can you make sure and add a cicada? Because they were out there singing to me while I built the place. So she put him down there by the date. But see the squirrel there on the back of the chair? And the lantern hanging to the right of the door. I mean, she just went with every little detail. I was just very impressed and amazed with what she did, and very reasonable. Look her up on Facebook if you want to. Alexa's Handmade Saws and Things. Just wanted to give her a big thank you and appreciation for doing this for me.